Jacob Mulenga, Clifford Mulenga, Fayo Tembo, Renford Kalaba, Davis Nkausu, Nathan Sinkala, William Njovu, Boyd Mwila, Hichani Emonde, Ignatius Luipa, Stopira Nsunzu, Roger Scholar, Given Singuluma, Dominic Yobe, Robson Muchelenganga, and Joseph Joliba Zimba. What have all these names that we are all familiar with in different levels of Zambian football, what have they all got in common? Every single one of the names that I just read out to you are players that were developed by 4 youth academies in Zambia. 3 in Lusaka and 1 on the Copper Belt. These academies all happen to have been formed around the same time. They participated in the same leagues, the same tournaments, both locally in Zambia, as well as in Spain, Denmark, and Sweden. They played friendly matches against each other at various different stages. They exchanged players. Some were playing up to under 19 and entered the Fuzz League. Others stayed in the Academy League. So some players started here and ended up here. But the 4 academies I'm about to name provided all the talent that I've just mentioned. Why is this important? And I'll tell you who those academies are in a minute. But let me explain to you why this is important. This is important because in 2003, when Zambia clobbered Malawi by 4-0 in the final of the COSAFA Under-20 in South Africa, after running ragged over all the teams in Southern Africa. Apart from the goalkeeper, Kennedy Mwene, who had come from State House FC in Fuzz Division 2 at the time, the rest of the players were predominantly from these 4 academies. In 2007, when George Luandamina took the Zambian Under-20 team to Congo-Brazzaville, that lost to the host team Congo-Brazzaville in the semi-finals, but still secured qualification to Canada 2007, where Zambia for the first time got out of the group stage of the World Cup. Again, these 4 academies provided the majority of players. In 2012, when Herve Renard won the Africa Cup of Nations, 5 of the starting players came from these 4 academies. You ask, who are these academies? I'll tell you who they are. EduSport, Lusaka Youth Football Academy, and Chiparamba in Lusaka, and AfriSport in Kitwe. The point that I'm trying to make to you today is, with a serious investment in youth football, Zambia can beat the best in Africa and can compete globally. If you think 2012 was a flash in the pan, or maybe we just got lucky with the talent in the early 2000s. Well, when the Football Association of Zambia and telecommunications company Airtel formed the Airtel Rising Stars, and talents like Enoch Mwepu, Pat Sondaka, and several other members of Beston Chambeshi's team were discovered. 2016, they went to South Africa again. They beat South Africa in the final, winning the COSAFA Under-20. In March 2017, for the first time, Zambia hosted a major tournament at the newly minted Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola and the National Hero Stadium in Lusaka. Everybody knows what happened. We beat Senegal by 2-0 to become African Under-20 champions, and we went to the World Cup in South Korea, where we did some serious damage, reaching the quarterfinals, where we eventually lost to Italy. So it shows you that an investment in youth football is the way forward. I tell you this story not only because I want you to have a historical perspective, but I tell you this story because this story is the reason why, sitting here today as a passionate advocate of youth football, I'm very excited for the future of Zambian football. I'm excited for the future of Zambian football because we've got several organizations, new organizations, that are doing incredible things for Zambian football. The Barca Academy in Lusaka, world-class facilities, which, oh, by the way, we didn't have in the early 2000s. Multiple pitches, different surfaces. Every Saturday and Sunday, leagues are going on for the young players. Iron is sharpening iron week in, week out. Zambian coaches and Spanish coaches are crafting and perfecting a blend of Spanish and Zambian football. When I was last in Lusaka, I was invited by two of my former players, Dominic Yove and Francis Kombe, who are now coaches of Red Arrows under 16, to come and watch their league game. I ended up spending 4 hours watching one game after another, talking to the coaches there, watching the boys. And as I was leaving, I had the opportunity to meet somebody I've always wanted to meet, Mauro Sena. Mauro is the brain behind the Barca Academy. I call him the father of futsal, indoor football in Zambia. Because when we were doing the youth football in the early 2000s, Mauro was at the Marco Polo Club there running futsal and taking Zambian teams to Brazil and Italy. Now Mauro is involved in youth football. And when I chatted with Mauro said a couple of things that got me really excited. Number one, Mauro mentioned to me that in their collaboration with Barcelona, the head of technical of the youth academy in Barcelona, Spain, had been to Zambia, and one of the boys had been identified as having more talent at his age than Barcelona's first team starting player today, Ansu Fati. That's exciting. If it wasn't for the coronavirus, the Barca team was supposed to go and participate in a very high-level tournament in Spain and play some friendly matches. God willing, once all of this craziness is over, this program will pick up and they'll be able to go to the tournament next year. But the thing that excited me most about my conversation with Mauro was when I asked Mauro, what's the goal? Mauro was emphatic, was patriotic, and was clear. Zambia is going to go to the World Cup because of what we're doing here. That level of ambition, that level of belief in Zambian talent really excited me. Because many of the people that have been involved in Zambian football up to this point haven't had that total belief and ambition that Zambia can go to the top of the mountain. In addition to the Barca Academy, you've got the work being done by Lee Kawanu and 12 management under the guidance of Frederick Kanute with Kafue Celtic. I mean, everybody knows Kafue Celtic now. That's where Patson Daka and Enoch Mwepu came from. And they are working on improving their coaching. They're working on improving the administration of the club. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we have more Patson Dakas and Enoch Mwepus coming through Kafue Celtic. Thirdly, Evans Kangwa, who plays for Arsenal Tula in the Premier League in Russia. He's a current player. Every month he gets a salary from his Russian club, and a portion of that salary is being sent to Zambia to invest in the Shamwell Academy. He's bought the team a bus, equipped them with top-of-the-line uniforms, balls, and all the equipment they needed, employs coaches and admin, and is running a really ambitious program, which again is only going to help to tap and nurture talent. On the Copper Belt, we've just heard about the launch of the Collins Mbesuma Foundation, which again will be tapping talent. But we take these new players, if I can call them that. Chiparamba is going through a restructuring under former Swedish-based professional player Boyd Mwila, who came through Chiparamba. Boyd is now the head coach and director of Chiparamba, and he's working to get Chiparamba back to the heights where they were in the early 2000s. Linos Kaputa and the team at Lusaka Youth Academy are still doing their thing, still tapping talent, still coaching the boys. I mean, the captain of the 2017 Beston Chambeshi-led under 20 team, Solomon Sakala, came from Lusaka Youth. EduSport are still playing their part. They're still tapping talent. They're still playing in leagues, and they're still providing players for the conveyor belt through to the under 17, under 20, and so on. AfriSport are still playing in the Fuzz League Division 3, so they are doing their job. But to top all of that off, we already have a core group of 10 Zambian players playing in Austria, Italy, Poland, Belgium, and Russia. Boys like Patson and Enoch, Evans Kangwa. We've got young Abel playing for Cagliari in Italy, Lubambo Musonda playing in Poland, Fashion Sakala playing in Belgium. So we already have a core group, which again, we didn't have in the 2000s. I think in the 2000s, we only had Moses Chone at FC Cologne and Andrew Sinkala at Bayern Munich. So yeah, the future is very bright. I call it the Zambian youth football revolution. If you look at the preparations that were done between 2000 and 2007, 8, to provide Hevre now with the material he needed, can you imagine what the Zambian squad will look like at the 2026 or 2030 World Cup? Amazing.